Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the G.I. Joe classified figure, boom, Crankcase with the A.W.E.Striker vehicle by Hasbro. Now this is a pretty neat set. So far I've been liking a lot of the classified vehicles. I haven't had any real issues with any of the ones I got lately. So I'm hoping that this one will be the same. So first thing I want to mention is that I do have a membership program going on, so for $2 a month, you can get extra stuff like, bonus reels, behind the scenes, and much more. So, without any further ado, roll that intro. All right, so here it is in packaging. I like the picture of this. So you can see him. He's in a desert style format here, probably like Middle Eastern or something. Because, that's what these things are. They're off-road vehicles. So I like this overall picture of him. You also have the bridge layer behind him, which is pretty interesting that they put that behind him. I'm sure they're not going to do anything with it, just like the Mobat. But I guess they just put it there because it looks cool. So you have your age restriction here, your choking hazard. You got windows so you can see the figure with his accessories. You got the Joe Star, G.I. Joe, Crankcase, and A.W.E.Striker. Plus you also have the G.I. Joe Classified logo and Hasbro. Alright, spinning around this way here. You get a pretty decent picture of Crankcase. I do like that. Alright, come around here. You get a pretty cool picture of the A.W.E.Striker and Crankcase. So you get to see all their accessories right here. Him, the vehicle, some of the special features, the Joe Star, his number, and you get all the legal under here as well. Spinning around this way. All right, you get his stats, your QR code, the star, and the QR code. Oh, I already said QR code. Sorry about that. And back around this way. The top, you got the Joe Star and his number. And then underneath, you got a little legal and SKU. So, all that being said, let's open them up and see what they're about. Alright, so first we're going to take a look at Crankcase. Now, I like his overall profile. I think he looks pretty cool. So we're going to start off with his points of articulation. So the head does move. Alright, you get a shoulder joint with a swivel, an elbow joint, and a wrist joint. Alright, get this up here. Do have a joint right here. Feels a little loose, but it does work. It does stay put. And you also got your swivel at the hips here. All right, you got your thigh joint with that swivel. You got a knee joint, swivel at the top of the boot, and an ankle joint. Now, I've been noticing that he doesn't fit as well on my stand like most of the other classified figures do, so he may fall off of it, but we'll take that as it goes. So now we're going to look at his finer details, and like always, I always like to start with the head sculpt. I like his head sculpt. It looks really nice. Now if you look underneath the eyes a little, you can see a little bit of darker color there. I kind of like that. It almost gives him like a sunburn look. Seeing how this is a vehicle that's meant to be out in the deserts and what have you. So it almost makes sense that he would have a little bit of tan or burn underneath the eyes. So I do like that. Also looks like on this side there's some dirt smeared there as well. So I do like that attention to detail. I do like that overall. And then when you get down into his body, he has, a vest on him for equipment and so forth. It doesn't look like a bulletproof vest. His belt and what have you. Come around to this side here. You can see his insignia is here. Let's tilt him forward just a little bit so you can see that. All right, underneath his arm here, you got the holster for his pistol. All right, you come around to this side, you got the back side of his armor and what have you. Over here, he has a holster for his knife, and when you bring the shoulder down, he has the emblem for the Joes. So overall, he isn't a bad looking figure. So now we're going to take a look at his accessories. So he comes with 2 helmets. He comes with your standard military helmet. All right. He comes with a biker helmet. All right. He comes with 2 bandanas. So he comes with one that you could put around his neck, and then one that you could put around his face. All right. He comes with a visor that says off-road. All right. He comes with a coffee mug. You know, you can't be out there taking out Cobra without your cup of coffee in the morning. I know I couldn't do it. All right. He has a set of goggles. All right. He also has these as well. He has a pistol. Now, his pistol does have a hole for muzzle blast, so if you want to add, like, you know, some firing effects to that, you can. And then last but not least, he comes with a knife. So we're going to start off with the knife and the pistol. All right. See how that stand just falls off? I don't know what it is about this particular figure, but it seems like the holes in his feet are a little big. All right, so there's the pistol. And there's the knife. Right, get him back on his stand here. Boom. So both of those fit very well in his hands. Apparently today we're going gangster with the pistol. There we go. So no issues with those. Now let's put them in their respective holsters. Knife fits in there nicely. No issues with that. The pistol comes in here. Got one of those goofy little pieces that strap over it. And these things, for the most part, never really work because you got this soft peg here. You're trying to get it in that hole, and sometimes it just won't really work in there. So yeah, see, I'm having a problem getting that peg in there. It's already bent to begin with. I never like when they give them these because they never want to really work. All right, well, there we go. This one made a, after he falls over. All right, so that just made a liar out of me because turn him around, it fits fine, no issues with that. So now we're going to start off with his helmet here. All right, boom. That fits on, no problems. All right. Next will be the biker helmet. That too fits on him with no issues. All right. Just give it a good spin. Now it's time for his other attachments. So goggles do fit nicely around his neck. Okay, and he should be able to at least hold it with one hand. That, okay. And let's see if we could get him to get into a looking position with these. Right. All right, so if you work it a little bit and play around with it, yes, it does fit in his hands, and you could get him to look with them if you want to, work it out. So that is very much plausible. Matter of fact, let's see if we could get it in both hands. That would probably make it a lot easier to get it around his eyes. Now he does have loose fingers, so that allows him to move the fingers around a little bit more and maneuver things. All right. So there you go. It's not perfect, but I'm sure if you play with it, you can actually get them to really look at things with those. So it's very much plausible. All right. That over there. And now you got his bandanas here. This just fits over his head. We don't like that stand. There we go. Boom. So as you see, that could just fit around his neck like that. No issues. All right, pull that off of him. Eventually, there it goes. Now, if you want the face one on, this one you might actually have to take the head off for. See how easy this head pops off. All right, that came off pretty easily. I was hoping to avoid pulling the head off, but sometimes it got to be done. All right. So yeah, with this, you're going to have to pull the head off. But as you see, it does go on there with no issues. You want them to be cool and have the visor too. You could do that. And then, of course, he also has the goggles. Alright, so if you want them like with this on, the visor and the goggles. Alright, you could definitely have him set up for desert terrain, just like that. And of course, let's be cool here and have our cup of Joe. Alright, so, oops, maybe no coffee today. Alright, so as you can see, everything seems to work pretty well with this figure. Alright, so now it's time to put the A.W.E.Striker together. Alright, they do have instructions for this. It's simple 1, 2, 3, 4 instructions. Alright, and this actually shows you what decals you can put on and where. So I do like that. So if you do want to put the decals on, that's 100% plausible. And you have 3 different variants here. So you got like a shark detail, a dog detail, and a reptile detail. So that's pretty cool. So you could pick one of those 3 that you want on there. All right, so let's work on getting this thing together. All right, step 1, add the backseat driver's seat. Okay. Boom. It sits on there pretty well. No issues with that. Step 2, add the roll cage. All right. So this thing goes on here like this. There's 2 holes in the back here. Those pop into, theoretically. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3 right up front here. All right. Now, this roll cage is meant to be removable. So, you want him driving around without it, you can. All right. Of course, it doesn't want to sit in the holes that well, but it is on there. Here, let me see if I can that in there a little bit better. Oh, that's why, because there's two spots here that it connects to too. Right. Right, so there she is. It's on. All right, and next up is your backseat driver piece here. That goes around this. No, that just sits on like that. Okay. So your third man can be safe and doesn't fall out of the vehicle. All right. Next up is all the extra accessories. So you got this cannon here that mounts on here like this. Right. Put that in here. There. All right. So that's on there. That gets a box with ammo. All right. There's a peg hole here for the box. Put this in here. Okay. She feeds in like that. That goes on here like this. All right. Now, I will say that this cage is a little flimsy, and it keeps on wanting to pop out. I'm sure once you get everything on there, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. All right. It's a matter of getting everything to stay on here. All right. All right, so this ain't wanting to cooperate very much. All right, there you go. Oops. No, not yet. Seemed to actually go on better before I added the ammo pack. The ammo pack seems to be interfering with it, but for now, we'll just pop your pack on. Now, it might be better to put these things on before you put the cage on, just because you can hold it a little bit more solid. All right, you got your smaller cannon with its ammo pack that sits onto the side here. So let's see how well this one works. Boom. Flips in right here. Like that. This pack goes on the side here. All right, so that clips in like that. Yeah, that gun there. All right, you got your antenna next. They go on either side here like this. You get one here. Eventually. All right, there. This one here. There we go. All right, so now you have your two side antenna on. Got your two rocket launchers that come up onto the top here. All right. We're going to take this off right now. This one here. Got both of them on there. All right. And you have a gas tank here that could sit in the back if you wanted to. All right. Then you got this tool kit, nothing in it, and that sits over here on this side. So everything seems to go together pretty well. The only thing I had any issues getting on was the cannon. All right, now that we got this thing all together, we're going to take a really good look at this thing. So first off, you have the front here, and you have a real working winch. So the winch does work. It works here. So when you winch it back up, there's a gear here. Goes right back into place. Take a look at it from this side. You have your antenna here. You got your rocket launcher, your ammo belt that feeds this mini assault rifle right here. All right, some information. Now the front suspension does work. You get some good working suspension. Same with the back. You get some pretty decent suspension in the back, but mainly in the front. I do like that. All right, and it obviously rolls pretty well. Come around to the back here. Got a step plate for extra soldiers. You got a hitch here. So if you want to hook something up like a missile launcher or whatever, you can. Got your engine here. Now, I wish with these, they kind of, I don't know if they do. Yeah, actually, I wonder. That feels like, yeah, that pops off. So you can actually see the engine on that. That's pretty neat because that was one of the things I did like about the old G.I. Joe toys was like you could pull like cabinets and stuff like this off. So you can see like the engine and storage areas and all. So I like the factor that they actually kept that with this. And then this just slides back on. Eventually, because, you know, there it goes. All right. Come around to this side. On this side, you can store your toolkit and gas tank in there. So that's pretty nice. You got your spare tank there. Of course, you could probably also store it on the back here, I would think. No. I thought these would be using the same size pegs that the figures use, but no, these are, this I think is actually slightly smaller. It won't fit on there, which is a shame because it would probably be nice to have this on the back there. But it is what it is. Just store it on the side here. So, you know, as he's driving around and somebody shoots at him and hits that gas tank, well, you know, one less driver in the world, I guess. Just back up here. All right. You can put the toolkit here, and like you saw earlier, toolkit actually opens. So if you want to put tools and stuff in there for them, you can. All right. Matter of fact, I think he probably should have came with some sort of tools. All right. Close that back up. All right. There you go. So that's all in place. Eventually, there it goes. All right. Take a look at it from the top here. You can see a real good look at that roll cage and that netting and what have you. And then from the underneath, not a whole lot going on the bottom. All right, I'm going to take this cage off. All right. So we could get a good look at the inside of this. So you can see all these controls and stuff here, which is really nice. All right. You also have an emergency brake here. And the shifter actually does move, which is pretty nice. All right. You got spots for your coffee there because, you know, coffee is important. You do have a radio here. All right. That comes out here. So if they want to hold the radio, they can. Also looking in here, the steering wheel does move. All right. And you get all this nice gear and what have you on the inside. Move that out of the way. So you got a lot of goodies to this thing. You know, a lot of detail put into this. I do like all that. So let's get our Joe here. See how well he fits in here. All right. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Why are you fighting me? Okay. That closes legs a little. His feet in there. There we go. All right. See if we could get his hands around the steering wheel here. Oh, okay. Steering wheel comes off. Well, that makes things easier. All right, so it's a little bit of a bugger trying to get his hands on here. Kind of glad the steering wheel does come off. Might make it a little bit easier. Because I hope that was meant to come off. Darn it. All right, so it's a little bit of a fight to get his hands on here. All right, let's try taking this off again. You know what? I'm going to do it this way. Really get that hand in there. All right, so that one's definitely on. That one is now on. Now let's get the steering wheel in place. All right, there we go. All right, so it took a little bit of work, but he is now holding the steering wheel. No issues with that. All right, let's come around to this side. Let's get a crew together for him. All right. All right, so we're going to have Clutch and Cover Girl help out with this. So let's put Cover Girl inside with him. All right. Let's see. Get this microphone. See how well she holds this. Open up those hands. All right. So she holds the CB pretty. Oops. All right. Apparently, Cover Girl has just received a war wound and lost her arm. Huh. No, that's not good for her. Hopefully that pops right back in. Okay, it does. All right. There we go. Can she hold this cannon? All right. All right. Pull this thing off. Well, that was quite unexpected. I did not expect her arm to come off. Will make it easier to put this gun in her hand, though. All right. Now let's get the CV back in her hand here. All right. So now we can have her hold the gun and the CB. So if she needs to call somebody while she's shooting, she can. Put him back in place. So now put this roll cage back on. See how well that works with the two of them. You know, screw that missile launcher because who needs that one? All right. All right. So put the stupid missile launcher back on. All right. So now with the missile launchers, you do have missiles for those as well. You got two missiles, 1 and 2. You should just slide right in. 1 and 2. All right, so both of those are now in place. And last but not least, we got the top gunner position, which is going to be by our good buddy Clutch. Bend those knees. All right, I hate to say it. I should probably put them in before putting the roll cage on. Ah, he'll fit. Okay, he'll work. All right. He sort of works. All right. Get one hand on this. Now the other hand. All right, this is resistance to max here. Okay, so I had to put him in off screen. He is now on there, the gun in his hands. All right. Yeah, it gets kind of frustrating putting him in there because of the factor that every time I try to push one piece down, another part comes out, especially with this frame here. So it's a bit of a bugger getting all these characters in here. But it looks like once they're in there and secured, you know, it all winds out working out. It's just, you know, it's just a bastard trying to get all this stuff on. But once it's all on, you're good to go. So he's in place, she's in place, and he's also in place. And it all seems to work out. All right, so let's get into my final thoughts with this. So first off, the figure Crankcase. All his joints move very well, had no issues with any of his joints. All his accessories fit pretty good on him, so I didn't have any issues with any of his accessories. And overall, I think he's a great looking figure. Captures the look from the original line, plus adding some new detail to him. So now let's get into the A.W.E.Striker. So first thing, it wasn't that hard to put together. There wasn't a lot of assembly to it. With this canopy piece, it was a little bit difficult lining things up because sometimes one thing wants to line up, the other thing wants to pop out. The same with putting on the stuff on top of it. So like you would start getting like the cannon on and then maybe the rocket launcher might pop off. And you have to put pressure on both the top and bottom because this thing's a little bit flimsy. So it's a little hard to get things on. But once you get everything on there and the way you want it, it all looks pretty good. I do like that. As for the playability to it, the winch does work. I do like the suspension on this. I think the suspension is a neat, you know, bonus to this. This framework, you know, I think I could do a little bit with or a little bit without. Like this piece, I just might keep off. I'm not a big fan of this myself. I like the factor that the engine compartment can open. That's definitely a nod to the original toy, so I do like that as well. Everything has its own little spot, so your ammo case on this side has its spot. Same with your toolbox, fuel, and so forth. So everything has a place on this, which is really nice. I do like that. I like a lot of the details on this. I like the factor that you have the option to add extra stickers to give it more personality. I like how the cab looks, all the detail, like you got the GPS, the steering wheel, everything moves inside of there. So that's a nice touch as well. It's a little hard getting the top figure in here just because of the way he sits. But once you get him in there, there is no real issues there. So overall, would I recommend this? Absolutely. I think this would be a really nice piece to go with the rest of your G.I. Joe classified vehicles and figures. I think I really like it, and yeah, overall I really like it. It also has a toe piece for your missiles and what have you. So with that being said, the first thing I want to do is give a shout out to a couple of people who helped this channel grow. First off, Byron Bassett and his alternate ego, Humongous. All right, he's a big supporter of the channel. Plus, he also helps create some of the effects for the channel. And I also want to give a shout out to Action Figure Geeks. They're a Reddit channel that I'm a part of. They also support the channel. Now, the information for both of them are in the comments, so check that out. Plus, I ask that you check out my G.I. Joe playlist and also take a look at my membership program. Plus, hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So, until the next one, late.